Okay, hi Tricia, how are you? Welcome back to the show.
I'm great. Thank you for having me, Douglas.
Oh, my pleasure. We looked it up and you were on just about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, September.
Right, right. I was trying to remember that as well.
And you were working on a series, I think. What book were you
Yes,
on
I was.
the last time you
Yes,
were here?
yes. I was working. I just released last spring the fourth book in the series, and I was working on the fifth and finale of the series. So now that has one more hurdle. My proofreader is looking at that, and it will be finished, but it doesn't release until July of 2025.
Okay, so which book are we talking about today?
Well, we can talk about the most recent release if you'd like, or we can jump over and talk about a different series.
Kingdom of Embers?
Right. We can talk about that. Yeah.
Is that part of the series that you were talking about
It's
last
a
time you were
it's a
on?
crossover series, and it really started the series I was talking about last time. So it's more like where this whole two book series began.
Okay, I'm confused. Do we have two different series going at the same time?
So the first series, the Kingdom Journal series, that starts with Kingdom of Embers, started the whole story arc line. And then the Realm Chronicles series, which is the one I'm wrapping up this year, finishes that arc story, I guess, but with kind of different sets of characters, interwoven and related different sets of characters that live in different worlds.
Okay,
If
so
that makes any sense.
so what are the two series called?
So the first series is the Kingdom Journal series. It starts with the Kingdom of Embers, and that chronicles a group of witches who are trying to break a curse on the witch lines. The main impediment to them breaking that curse is this evil, she was alive witch, but has since become an evil spirit, Sonia. And the crossover series, the Realm Chronicles series, chronicles her plaguing a Fey queen who lives in Middle Earth. But the Fey queen who lives in Middle Earth can also come to the human realm, and she helps. Well, the witches help the Fey queen, as well as the Fey queen helps the witches to try to get rid of this evil spirit, Sonia.
Okay, I know some of this might be a little repetitive, but
No, no, this yeah,
um,
it's even my head starts exploding.
uh, so where did all these ideas come from? Was there something that inspired this particular uh, idea story?
Right. Well, I started in the beginning. I thought I was going to write a vampire series. I've always been drawn to vampires and vampire lore, and have read almost all of it. And so when I began writing, I thought, oh, I'm going to create this vampire witch hybrid, but character whose name is Alina, and it's going to be a vampire series about vampires. But very quickly it changed. I developed this curse on the witch lines that their souls are damned to purgatory. So way, way long time ago, an angel cursed their souls to live in purgatory forever, but there is a way to undo the curse. And you have to have a trinity of witches that find each other and come together and figure out how to break this curse. So my storyline revolved around that. And I realized that magic sort of enabled me to break the curse easier than anything a vampire could use, because magic and spells most often can be reversed, undone, broken using another spell, or another recipe, for lack of a better term. So it quickly became more of a witch series than a vampire series, and it chronicles these three witches trying to find each other. Many of them don't know they're witches until they discover this, and then once they find each other, figuring out how to break the curse. And how it kind of catapulted into the fairy series is that in the finale to the Kingdom Journal series, which is Kingdom of War, we see this Fey queen come and help the witches in one of their battles. So that's how the Realm Chronicles got catapulted out of that series. I have trouble letting go of my characters, so it was really neat to keep all those witches alive, not just alive, but in the storyline of the continuing crossover series.
Well, you said that some of them didn't know they were witches. How is that possible?
Right. So their parents didn't tell them they were witches. They didn't. The only one clue you kind of get in the early part of the book is that these witches, even as young 3 and 4-year-olds, were playing with each other like they were imaginary friends. And that's the first memory they have of knowing each other. But for various reasons, you know, they got doctors involved. And well, number one, they were just imaginary friends, is what some of their parents thought. They were imaginary friends. They went away. So that's called, right? And the witches have these conditions, which is part of the curse, is that they have to move at least every 2 years. And their parents kept doing that, thinking, oh, this wasn't a healthy living situation, and not really knowing what was wrong or what was plaguing their child until one of the witches, Camille, keeps seeing visions of these 2 other witches that are now 18 years old and looking for her. And she starts having these dreams and visions, and she decides to go off and figure out why she's having these dreams and visions beyond just being some kind of psychotic lapse in her brain.
Do you like movies about witches?
You know, it's funny. I don't read or watch as much witch literature as I do vampire literature. Like, there are certain series I watch, Vampire Diaries, that incorporate like both vampires and witches and a lot of magic. But I'm still more drawn to the vampires for some reason.
Well, the only 2 that I was going to reference was one called, I think, The Witch. And then there was another one with Angelica Houston, which was kind of like a kid's movie.
Right, yes.
I forget the title, though.
Well, that Witch was a really old one. And on purpose, a lot of times, if I'm writing my fantasy, I don't read other fantasy books because I don't want to be influenced. Like, I want it to be definitely not a takeoff of somebody else's world or magic system. I want it to be creative and unique to my world of magic system. So I don't want to be influenced by other writers or other entertainers, I guess.
Do you think there are witches out there, real witches?
You know, I'm not going to say there aren't. I don't have magical abilities, but I tend to think of magic as something that surrounds us, that if we notice it, it can feel magical to us, like just seeing a beautiful sunset or a flower blooming or maybe a happy circumstance that enters your life in an unexpected way. All those things are just part of life that make it fun and happy and, to me, magical. So that's why I have my brand is finding the magic, and whether it's just an everyday thing or a book or a show or just an idea or meeting people or in your family, you can creating magical moments, I guess. And it's not per se something like out of the ordinary or something that normal humans can't do, but just noticing the good in life.
What about vampires?
You know, I just watched Nosferatu yesterday, and I love the new take on the new movie. And it seems like there could be, but you know, people living for thousands and thousands of years and never dying, a little far-fetched. But if you talk to my kids, they'll say, you know, she thinks she's a vampire most of the time.
Well, the vampire stories have been going on for centuries.
They have. And in my books, my vampires live 800 to 1,000 years. They can be killed. It can be a gunshot wound but their body heals very quickly. They don't get sick. And they do discover they're just a breed of humans. Like, they do the DNA testing and discover that they're not anything magical. They're just a being that's more impervious to the frailties of the general humanity. Through my research, I did find that there was pockets of people all over the world, really, that get together and drink blood. And so, and the health organizations obviously will say, well, this is not really safe. I mean, I guess if you drink the blood that comes out of blood bags, maybe it's been checked and purified. So that was very interesting. It was like the article was written last year, so it was on like a major network. So that was kind of interesting.
Well, I know there are some tribes that do that for religious ritual,
Right.
So the latest book that's out is called Kingdom of Embers. Is that the most recent release?
No, Kingdom of Embers is the first book in the Kingdom Journal series that started the whole, what will be a 10-book series. The latest book to come out in the Realm Chronicles. So the Kingdom Journals is a finished series. You have 4 books and then a prequel, which is Kingdom of the Damned, which talks about Alina's mother. So that is like a vampire book because her mother is the vampire. And then in the Realm Chronicles series, which is the spin-over crossover series, there's 4 books that have come out, and then to be a fae, the 5th book will come out in July. So in 6 months, everybody will know the amazing conclusion to the whole series.
Well, I think on that, we're going to have to wrap this up. Thank you again for coming back on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Last question. Can you give out your website, please?
Of course. Tricia Copeland, TriciaCopeland.com.
Okay. And there's information about all the books on there?
Yes. Information on all the books. There's 2 free short stories you can download if you want to just try out my writing. So I have audiobooks as well as the ebooks and paperback.
Okay, great. Well, again, thanks for coming on the show, and best of luck.
Thank you so much.